Ow. Okay. And welcome to the show. Happy Saturday, woo. Happy days, and all that jazz.
Woo, woo, woo. Yay. So, Superman.
Ooh, straight into it, huh?
Yeah, have you seen it?
I have not. Maybe by the time this comes out, I have. I might go see it today. I don't know. We'll see.
So here's the thing, man. I'm going to spoil this fucking movie for him because fuck him. Fuck him and his like enjoyment of movies. You know the guy's just going to get popcorn, fall asleep anyways.
Beep. I'm not you with your popcorn salad, dude. You keep bringing up popcorn salad like if it's me when it's actually you.
It's a thing.
It's a sickle. No, dude. I've never. I actually did try it now with the drizzle of chocolate onto it. It's good, but I prefer my good old fashioned salty buttery nuts. Popcorn. I mean, yeah. Sorry. I prefer that. You know. Okay. So when I go to the movies, you get your snacks and stuff, right? Yeah. What do you usually get?
Well, I always go with my kid, and I get popcorn, soda, and whatever candy. I get that because I go to the Sinopolis.
Great place.
Sinopoli. I don't know how to pronounce the place.
Sinopolis, yeah.
I heard like
I've heard Sinopoli. I've heard Sinopoli.
Well, it's not lie, that's for sure.
No, but I've heard it too.
I think it might actually be Sinopoli because Poli Poli is a Greek.
Well, I always thought it was more like Metropolis. Like the English version, Sinopolis.
Yeah, no, I think it's supposed to be Sinopoli.
Because then I know in Mexico it is. I know in Mexico it is Sinopoli.
Yeah, I think that because it's Latin.
Yeah, and we're Latin people, Latin lovers.
Well, Latin, like old Greek, turned into Latin in some way. You know, with the mixing of the Etruscan Etruscan and
you're
Roman
going off on a tangent. Okay, so popcorn.
I'm just, I just know shit. What can I say?
Yeah, you are shit.
So Sinopolis.
Great movie theater. Yeah.
I always get the popcorn. Just buttered popcorn, soda.
Yeah,
that's it.
I usually
keep it simple.
Yeah, I like buttered popcorn. That's my go-to. And then I'll have a blue raspberry icy. Those are my two that I go with. If that's not available, then I'll try to go for a Coke or a cherry Coke type thing. And then third choice is either Dr. Pepper or root beer. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm a very staple guy. That's what I usually get.
Yeah.
My kids love getting, the little ones like getting candy and a hot dog. My oldest likes nachos and he loves spicy food. So for him, it's Takis and shit like that. My wife always gets a pretzel. That's her thing.
That's so expensive.
Dude.
Because just for that.
You have no idea.
Oh, I have an idea. Because again, Sinopoly, just for like popcorn, a drink, and candy, it's like about $26.
Yeah.
So now spread that amongst like more people with like
six. So not only everything is.
Here's the thing, Angel. Go to like Vidiots. No, I'm gonna tell you why. No. First of all, last night they were showing the Thing.
Oh, now, I love the Thing.
Here's the thing though about the Thing. No, here's the thing about Vidiots, dude. Like popcorn and a soda is gonna cost you $7.
Yeah.
And they have alcohol, and they also have like hot dogs and little burgers, and you're not going to break the bank. And a lot of these little independent movie theaters, their food prices are so reasonable.
Yeah. Well, I go to the Starlight in Uptown Whittier. That's my go-to right now, and I love it because it's cheap. But the other one that I'm obsessed with because of how cheap the snacks are and how good they are is the Egyptian Theater. The Netflix now there's Netflix Theater.
Yeah.
It's super clean, super nice, super historic. I love historical things. I really enjoy that theater, and I really enjoyed their snacks because it was dirt cheap. I think it was like $18 for me and my wife last time we went. I was shocked on how cheap it was. But I digress. The reason I'm bringing it up is because I don't do your popcorn salads and stuff like that. The thing is, I think I'm always hyped up on other stuff all the time, and when I sit down and if I'm not interacting or I feel no emotional connection to something, I do start falling asleep. But it happens all the time. Like, for instance, right now I'm doing Red Dead Online, which is the Red Dead Redemption Online game. And I love that game. I spend hours on it. But sometimes I get in this monotonous routine where I'm hunting animals after a while or riding on my horse. I start dozing off. Like yesterday I was dozing off. It's not that because I had a fucking diabetic coma like Ozempic over here, but it was interesting. And I know that.
So I got questions.
When I go okay, go ahead.
I got questions. Okay. Oh. In your movie, when you go to the movies,
here we go again.
What is your what do you have? Like let's
popcorn blue raspberry icy.
Okay, popcorn blue. And so this, let's say you're at the Egyptian theater and you're watching, I don't know, The Man Who Shot Beggar Band, some great movie or whatever. And you got your
That is a good
popcorn
movie.
and you got your blue balls, right? Okay, so now, so you have a little bit of popcorn, right?
Uh-huh.
That's it. And you're good, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. Except when you're pre-diabetic. All it takes is like just a handful of popcorn and you're like,
Like, Enrique, stop
So
projecting.
I'm
stop
gonna tell you.
projecting. Stop projecting.
So you can talk all the shite you want, my friend, but I'm telling you right now, your movie reviews in which, you know, they end with like, when I fell asleep, you blaming a good or bad movie based on your diabetic comas. That's all I'm saying. Keep it real. Make it make sense.
The password is projection.
Look, man, I know my condition. Okay,
I got your condition.
I don't give a
Okay, so
I don't care.
So you saw
I don't give
Superman.
a fuck,
Now,
Keisha.
as you can tell, I'm a Superman fan, right? Like I mentioned off air, my wife despises the character. She's a Batman fan, but she's kind of like, "Ew, Superman sucks." I love both. Of course, I do love Batman a lot, but I also enjoy Superman. I've enjoyed most of his media that's been out there from the television shows like Smallville or Superboy back in the 80s, or The Adventures of Superman and Lois. Smallville being one of the major ones that
I hated the Dean Cain one.
Yeah,
was not a fan of it. I did not like it.
I watched it, but I did not like Dean Cain, and I didn't like Terry Hatcher.
No, me neither.
I thought they were terrible.
They were.
But there was nothing else out in that style then, so I watched it. But I would do like the whole like. I remember like not hate watching, like I'm like, this fucking show, but I'd sit there and be like, okay, well, Superman, and then he just wasn't convincing as Superman.
No.
And for him to come out and be freaking a maggot now,
He was kind of the thing I find very funny is that he was always a very ethnic Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, that guy was not. He was very ethnic, and I mean, I get it. Like Superman's an alien,
yeah.
so he can look however they. Okay, let me draw some lines though here. I would have never gone for a black Superman. I'm sorry. I don't believe it's racism.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't.
No.
I don't believe it's racism. It's just Superman was always of some kind of white. He was always white complected. He could even He could even be dark. So Dean Cain, he's an ethnic Superman, but he was a Superman, and that's fine. Nobody really batted an eye too much. I don't know. Maybe there was some controversy. I have no clue. I don't know.
There was some small one. I remember it wasn't like a large thing. They just said that he was not typecast correctly, but that's about it. But then when the show came out, they were like, "Oh, he's still makes it believe and stuff."
Well,
but it's because remember, up to that point, who was the biggest? Christopher Reeve.
Christopher Reeve.
No one up to that point. There's been a lot of them, but there's been the two main big Supermans up to that point were George Reeves, Christopher Reeves. No relation, but they were the most popular.
Yeah, George Reeves was the 1960s Superman.
1950s.
Is it 1950s?
1950s,
okay.
yeah.
And then, of course, after that was
Christopher Reeves in 1977.
Yeah. And amazing.
Then Dean Cain. I mean, there was the one for Superboy, the show. I forget his name. This plain-looking guy. That show was terrible too. The Superboy.
I don't think I watched it.
Yeah, it didn't last long. It was before that. Anyway, that one was bad. And then Dean Cain, I didn't enjoy it at all.
Right. So I don't remember too many of the stories. I might have watched it here and there just because I was a comic book nerd from a very young age because of the Tim Burton Batman. So
for me, it was for Super Friends.
By the time I watched all that too. For sure. I watched the Scooby Doo episodes. I ate up all the reruns of the Batman. I loved all that stuff. So I always loved comic book properties, but I wasn't a comic book nerd until the Tim Burton movie because that's when I started looking for comic books. And so did the rest of the world because it was a huge comic book boom after that.
It was the renaissance of comic book movies. And then, of course,
not
now,
just movies, but comic books, period. Because
Yeah.
at the time, the graphic novel or of the movie was one of the highest selling books of that time.
I still have it.
Do you now?
I still have it.
Cool.
But I ruined it because I drew on the cover as a kid, and I you know how I had the Batman logo on top?
Yeah.
Well, I used the eraser side and I whited out like the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And I made like a cowl and I wrote like a little face on it. And looking at it now, I'm like, God, this could have been worth money, but I enjoy it because it's mine, and I enjoy it because it's my art. It's not worth money.
No. That book was so widely available. It's not.
Yeah,
worth anything.
it's not going to be worth nothing.
But still, it's a great story. It's a great. It did such a good job of showing you the movie, but also putting in some of the comic book elements that were left out of the movie, which is fun.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this though. Like, going back, Batman, we can do a whole thing. I love Batman, but let's circle back to this fool right here, Superman. When you think Superman, first of all, what version is it? The one that you like? Like, let's say from the medias that are out there, not the comic books.
Okay, so I personally will always like the
your alarm going off.
I would always like the Richard Donner version, obviously with
The first
Christopher
two?
Reeves. That's always going to be my Superman.
Have you seen the Donner cut of Part 2?
I have.
Okay, yeah,
Of course.
All right,
Of course.
just
I mean,
checking.
I would like
A lot of people haven't.
So my point earlier when I was talking about being a comic book nerd, and the reason I was bringing that up is because when I would watch Superman properties, I knew that there was a wider world that they existed in, and I was always looking for that world. So when I remember watching the Dean Cain, is that his name?
Yeah, Dean Cain.
I remember watching that, wanting Batman and the Flash and those people to exist, and I think they might have made allusions to them. So I was always excited about that sort of thing, but overall, it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough.
No, the Adventure of Superman wasn't that.
Yeah, that's the reason why ultimately when the Arrowverse came out and it just wish fulfilled everything. Because I remember watching the Flash in the 90s and wanting the Flash to exist in the world where Superman and Batman and all of them existed.
Right. Now,
and so seeing it in the CW where they did fulfill all that. Oh man, that's a nerd boy's dream.
In the defense of anything that came before Smallville, which was the first one that did it, I gotta say the reason is the same reason why there are a lot of things don't happen in the Marvel, and it's the convoluted notion of licensing rights to all these different characters.
Yeah.
So in certain time periods, because of business politics and everything, they cannot include certain characters in certain things, or the head of the studio will not allow them to include certain things.
That's right.
Like for instance, in Arrow, what was the character's name? The black guy that was Oliver Queen's friend, John.
I know you're talking about.
I forget his name. Like I've only been, I still have to finish Arrow. I think I'm on season 5 where I left off. But John something or other, Deckard?
Oh, Diggle.
John Diggle. Yeah, Diggle.
John Diggle.
Okay, so they hint that he was supposed to become a Green Lantern.
Yeah, the Stewart.
Yeah, he was supposed to be John Stewart. Like that. It was kind of like they couldn't use the name John Stewart, so they went with Diggle, and then later on they were going to be like retcon it that he was a Green Arrow.
In the Crisis series, there's one of the last episodes, I believe. He's driving away from Oliver's house, and he sees a comet or something crash, and so he gets out of his car, goes over to it, and he goes down and there's a box. And he opens it, and there's a green glow coming out of it. And he looks at it, and he smiles. He goes, "It's about time," or something to that effect. Yeah. Also, in the Crisis series, if you remember, I was talking. Oh, interesting. Okay,
because I don't want to. No, go ahead.
So
spoil it because I already looked into them.
So for me, watching the Flash in the '90s, I always wanted that Flash to exist in the world.
That Flash was amazing.
He was,
and that series was amazing.
I wanted that Flash to exist in the world with other heroes existed, and I love that the CW fulfilled that promise, because what happens is during the Crisis episodes, they go into multiple parallel worlds, and they meet different versions of the different characters, and they find a way to combine old series together, which is great. They bring
Smallville into it.
They sure did,
which was an amazing way. I mean, a lot of people complain it's a cop out because supposedly he gave up his powers and this and that. Right. But there's some also people that I don't know how true it is, but supposedly he's wearing a watch with blue kryptonite, which knows his powers. Yeah, but. They never said it on the show. I think it's just a coincidence that people are saying that.
Yeah, I think so. But they found a way to. He said, "Oh no, I was able to cure that long time ago," because like when Lex Luthor brings out the kryptonite, and he's like, and then he just goes, he throws it in, and it's great. Anyways,
isn't it how funny, how great casting that was, that they got John Cryer to be Lex Luthor in Crisis and Supergirl.
Yeah,
and he was
in the movie. He was the kid,
the nephew of Lex
the nephew.
Luthor.
Yeah, right. Was it the Superman
3?
Something for Peace or whatever.
No, Quest for Peace. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
4.
he played the nephew of Gene Hackman's version of Lex Luthor. Yeah, that's great.
I thought that was
genius. It's genius.
That was great.
But that was the whole thing. CW was all about that wish fulfillment. Well, the point I was trying to get was that in that show they explained that the Flash from the 90s, that actor, he actually came out in the Flash show of the CW as the father of Barry Allen, right, of the Flash in that show. But then in the Crisis episodes, he comes out and portrays his version of the Flash from the 90s, and he looks at Barry Allen or something, and he goes, Dad, and he goes, no, I'm Barry Allen. Well, when that Flash sees John Diggle, he goes, John, he goes, where's your ring and suit?
Yeah.
So that's what he tells him.
Yeah.
And John Diggle goes, what? Because it basically hinting that the Flash recognizes John Diggle as being John Stewart, and where's his suit and where's his power ring.
Yeah.
So stuff like that was just like, man, it was wild. I love it.
Or the fact that they had Brandon Routh come back as Kingdom Come Superman, as Ray Parker.
That was the cream of the crop, next to, of course, the having the what's his name, John Ezra, come out as the Flash, and Barry Allen Flash, and they meet.
That is amazing.
That was amazing. It was a great moment. But overall, like having Brandon Routh replay his version of Superman, but in with a updated Kingdom Come version of the character. Kingdom Come being the story in which in a future of the DC universe
by Alex Roths.
Great artist. The Superman retires because he gets humiliated and forced into retirement by Magog. And Magog is supposed to be at the time, I think when the comic book came out in the 90s, this was during the time when Image Comics was making waves, and that type of superhero, like the Rob Liefeld, the Jim Lee characters, like Wildcats and Youngblood, these were the kind of superheroes that everybody was backing, and Superman was so old-fashioned. Right? Do you remember that? Superman was so old-fashioned that he gets forced into retirement because of it. So it plays out in the comic books that way. Yeah. And then just like The Dark Knight Returns, he gets resurrected back into the life, because it turns out that the newer heroes are inadequate, which, by the way, is such a great, it's still such a relevant story right now. This whole thing that we're going through with Make America Great, and this fictional version of what America used to be when we were great, and we never were that great. We're a great country, but we were never great in the way that people pretend that we were. I mean, but that's the beauty of it. We were constantly growing. I love that idea that this newfangled kind of approach doesn't work, and the old-fashioned ways tend to be the better ways. And by old-fashioned, I mean just good old diplomacy, good old human kindness, man. Anyways, I off my tangent, I'm gonna say that the CW and the Superman that for me was Christopher Reeve, but I love Brandon Routh as Superman.
I loved his character. Like we were talking off air, it is a continuation of the Christopher Reeves. He was doing his version, at least as Clark Kent, was identical to Christopher Reeves, which I thought was great. Right. In hindsight, the movie had some moments that were kind of cringy, like the whole super stalker thing. But I did enjoy the movie at the time. I didn't think it was great. I was kind of let down that it didn't continue with that.
The biggest problem with Superman Returns was that it was low-key kind of boring.
The plot was kind of boring,
and I can understand people not being super into it. I think Bryan Singer, he really took. I'm not a fan of him, but I'm not either. I will give him credit that I think he took the Superman character, at least the one that was created by Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner and whoever. He really took that sort of level of cinematic representation. He really wanted to respect that, so he tried making Superman Returns be more like an Oscar-worthy kind of film. Right. So he really focused in on on these like kind of dramatic moments. But you know, the thing about Superman is that Superman is the most powerful person in the planet, and so you have to give him like genuine reason to be afraid. And never, Lex Luthor was never dangerous to him.
No,
we like us like believing that, you know, that he was in any danger in those movies. Just it didn't happen. And so because of that, like you have this OP kind of guy in Superman Returns, and yes, you have that stalker stuff where he's like he comes back. I guess what the premise is that he left the planet for years
to find Krypton.
Right,
he left.
And so when he comes back, you know, Lois Lane has moved on, and she's married,
and is married to Cyclops from X-Men.
Yeah, that's true. And so he comes back and he's like, yeah, straight up stalking her, and like, dude, I mean, come on, Loki, like infidelity, and that's not Superman. They messed up with that. They messed up with that.
Yeah, they did. They did.
So this actually helps me jump into the new movie, and I'll do it without spoilers as best as I can.
I'm gonna try to go watch it. So yeah,
I'm gonna respect that because it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie, and it's a very James Gunn movie too. Like, it doesn't have a lot of music like all his other movies do, and that's fine. But there is a few great sequences. I'm hoping you're gonna love the character the way I do, the Mr. Terrific character. He's such a great character, and they have this really great action sequence with him. And during that, there's a great song that's playing, and it very much looks like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of fight sequence, you know, where there's just a lot of energy happening. You have like a focal point of one character, and then you have the main character fighting, and sometimes the character's off camera, but you're seeing the action being thrown in, and everything's just kind of frenetic, and it's fun.
Well, I'm a big James Gunn fan. I loved his movie Slither. I loved Super 8.
Yeah.
I love his writing style.
Yeah.
Peacemaker shows I think is phenomenal.
Well, Dawn of the Dead was written by him.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead was written by him and by Zack Snyder as a director.
Well, Zack Snyder was a director, so visually, like he's the one that made it.
Took it, but the writing of it was amazing.
The thing about Dawn of the Dead is this: before I knew James Gunn wrote it. And I would have told you this then because I only knew James Gunn wrote it a few years ago when I really got into him.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I didn't know that James Gunn wrote it. I always just assumed that it was all Zack Snyder, so I would call it Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. But I would tell anybody that would listen, like, man, I love that movie, but the weakest thing of that movie for me was some of the visuals. I said, I go, the story is fantastic. Like he understood what...
You want a shocker? I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, here's the thing.
The thing is, that movie, yeah, something about a cinematic, it was kind of like, at points, was kind of a letdown or kind of bored.
I'm going to tell you the scenes that I love in Dawn of the Dead. I love the opening sequence, but mind you,
what the song and the
song and if you remember, the girl is working her shift,
played by Sarah Polley.
It's great
director, by the way. Sarah Polley,
is she now?
Yeah, she's a director now. She is amazing.
What has she done?
I can't think off the top of my head, but I remember I saw a movie the other day and I was like, that's Sarah Polley?
Cool.
Holy shit. I'll look into it, but yeah,
so the sequence that I'm referring to is like, so you know, you have like the shift, and you start to see, like, you can sort of see that something's happening, right? Things are happening off the and then you're starting to get the sense that there's like a growing thread. And I love whenever anybody does that. Some of the best apocalyptic media that I've ever seen really taps into that. And that's why I was going to say that the story, like, they understood what George Romero was going for, because there's a similar thing that happens in the original Dawn of the Dead, where like remember the SWAT team,
the people they kill, they get up and kill.
Like, remember the SWAT team guys? They go into a building, the apartment, and you can sort of see that something bad is happening, but they're not telling you what, but you can tell
it's building little by little.
Yeah, and the same thing happens. This girl's she's working her shift, and then she leaves home, and when she gets home, there's her and her husband sit down, and and they have their meal, and it's just like life as normal, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And so I love the camera shots. I love the tight end shots when you see the little girl that comes in, and they know her name, so they ask, oh, where's your mom? And all of a sudden the girl attacks them, and it just becomes like epically, like frenetic. And as she makes her way out of the out of the house, after her husband gets, taken and turned. I love that you then see the full scope of the drama in her little block where people are being attacked left and right, and she's trying to make her way to the car. And then that shot from where you can see the car driving away, and you see this kind of bird's eye view of her car, and you can just see around
the chaos around her, people getting attacked and killed.
Great.
Yeah, it's great.
But it also, I imagine, I haven't read the script, but I imagined a lot of the script probably depicts all of that. So all Zack Snyder had to do was just interpret what probably was already on that script. So knowing that James Gunn wrote that tells me everything I need to know about him as a person.
If you think about Zack Snyder, he's not a strong writer.
No.
He really isn't.
Yeah.
Hence why 300...
Rebel Moon sucks.
Oh,
I really wanted to like it.
Rebel Moon is horrendous.
I wanted to like it.
I haven't even finished part 2 because I was so bored of the first one, man. I fell asleep. No, I'm just kidding. No, I did not fall asleep, but I really wanted to sleep. I think I would have had a better time. Visually, it's a very beautiful movie, but it's not. Sucker Punch is another movie that I
love Sucker Punch.
I enjoyed it, but at the same time, the writing drags at points.
It has a great idea.
Yeah.
It has a great story.
Great visuals, great ending.
But it's not, it misses.
It's not structured properly.
No, it's not. But it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. It is.
It's a movie that I would recommend to people. It's a visually cool movie, and I think it aged well.
But if you have to point, I agree. But if there's a point of the movie that you can say is the negative, I think it's just the writing itself is not that great.
Yeah.
The concept is great. Everything else is great. It's like a kid who has ADHD and he's like, concentrated on the visuals more than the actual writing itself. Okay. So I love that movie. Don't get me wrong. I think it's one of his best work, but it suffers. Man of Steel, same thing. Visually, it's wonderful, but there's parts where it's like, dude, this guy, I don't know if he wrote it himself, all by himself, but I
don't think so.
It's not the strongest Superman film. I enjoyed it.
I really liked that movie.
Man of Steel, yeah, I enjoyed it. I love the I do too, because a lot of people I'm a Superman fan, and a lot of people were like, that's not Superman. And okay, it is Superman. I do believe it's a Superman film. Yes, there's parts that are weak. There's some choices that he made that I did not like the darkness of the suit. I did not enjoy.
Right.
But I think that Henry looked great as Superman.
He did.
I think he sounded great as Superman.
Yeah.
As Clark, he was okay. I don't think he was the best Clark Kent, but as Superman, he was perfect. And then later on with the Justice League and everything else, he perfected it. It's such sadness to me that he was not able to fulfill that character more with either a sequel or a threequel, or just expanding on his Superman.
Yeah.
I think that is the sad part about James Gunn taking over for DC. But I digress. Going back to the new movie, I haven't seen it, but James Gunn chose a lot of things that made me go, oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like fun. I'm in. There are, of course, like always, I have to be critical about things. I do not enjoy the look of the suit because it looks like pajamas to me.
Wait till you watch it in full motion in the movie. Okay. I think it makes sense because okay, again, I'm trying not to be spoilerish, but I will tell you that right off the bat, the movie gives you a story crawl, and I think it really was important because what they want you to get ready for is that the movie begins in media res. There's already something has happened. And it's not a spoiler to tell you that the trailer of him in the ice, that's the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Okay, and that's probably the most spoiler I can give you. Okay. That's the beginning of the movie, so it begins already with him. But I love it because it in the media crawl they tell you that 3 centuries ago metahumans were discovered. 3 decades ago, metahumans became heroes. They basically, and then 3 days ago, Superman stopped a war. 3 minutes ago, Superman lost his first battle. And then boom, it's great. That's right off the bat, it gets you right now. What I really like about the suit, because I agreed with you initially, I was very suspicious.
I love the symbol though. I love the symbol.
What I like about the suit is that this Superman is, you can tell that this Superman really, really cares about being kind. Right. And man, the part that I really want to talk to you about, I can't because it's incredibly spoilerish, because there is some decisions that are made that they can sort of retcon later in order to advance a story. But for for the purpose of this movie, they never do. And it'll make sense to you what I'm saying when you watch it.
Okay.
And so it really sort of like, it basically, Superman is a certain way because of certain things. He really is like, he embraces the symbol, he embraces the image, and you can see that him wearing what he does, without telling you, you can see that it's his way of wanting to be human and approachable.
Right.
Because he knows that he is the most powerful person on the planet. He knows already. And so if you're the most powerful person in the planet, you could be like, oh, I don't know, like Donald Trump, and tell people, you don't talk like that to the president ever. Or because, you know, you hear, all right. Okay.
All right.
So,
sorry. So yeah, we had a little technical difficulty. My apologies.
we sure did.
So
I think the last thing we were talking about was like the suit, right? Superman suit, and talking about like kindness. And I think ultimately I just wanted to emphasize that the movie, I know that the controversy that's led up to the release of the movie, in which James Gunn talked about Superman being an immigrant and it being a story about, you know, an immigrant. And
but so, it's true in the comics, he is an immigrant. He is an alien,
there's no
illegal
doubt.
immigrant.
You cannot argue that point. You can't. Yeah, everybody knows. That's the thing. It's a known thing. And so for any conservative to turn around and turn it into like a talking point is stupid. It's disingenuous.
Like Dean Cain. Oh, they're making it too woke. It's like you did not read your core source of material what made you famous, did you? Because he is an immigrant. Mm-hmm. And for you to think that he's not an immigrant is ridiculous. I just saw on Threads, which is the new X or whatever,
Instagram,
it's the meta version of X.
Mm-hmm.
Someone wrote, Superman is not an immigrant, he's an expat, which made me laugh so much because I'm sorry, expats are immigrants. It's just Americans don't want to be labeled immigrants when they move somewhere else, so they came up with the term expatriate or expat. You are ridiculous. You are an immigrant. Own it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to call you by your birth label, not by what you want to be called. You little snowflake.
Well, the word immigrant means to immigrate. And, you know, I mean, we can call you diaspora. We can call you, you know, whatever, occupier. Whatever. But the thing of it is this. I mean, Superman has always been known as an immigrant. I mean, dude, like I think at some point he was the mascot for Ellis Island.
Yeah.
Remember, like, you know, send me your huddle masses. You're poor and you're hungry, whatever.
He was.
And so they had, I think they even had like a stand, like a cutout stand in there at Ellis Island, because the thing is that Superman was always known as an immigrant when it wasn't, when it wasn't a political issue. Because dude, like you come from a foreign planet, you know, to live on a new one. You land in Kansas and you're raised by two very American farmers. I'm sorry, but you're an immigrant.
Yes.
And Superman would...
And an illegal one at that.
And there's been many comics that explored it way before. Like comics in the 60s and 70s. Well, actually more, I think in the 60s they didn't overemphasize it. They just called him an alien and that was fine. It was enough. I mean, they knew him as an immigrant.
In the 60s and 70s they did cover some civil rights. Remember there was
in
an
the
episode,
70s for sure.
There was an issue where Lois Lane actually went undercover as a black African-American woman.
Oh, wow.
And she had like the whole afro and the 60s dress and all that because she wanted to see what it felt like. And of course Superman was there because, you know, Superman's always everywhere.
And he's going to protect her. Yeah.
He's going to protect her. So they did try to do some of that stuff in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way, and you know, depending on product of its time.
Yeah.
We talked also where there is there is the Red Sun, Elseworld legend, which is basically where what if Superman did not come to America but actually to Cold War Russia, which is a great story as well. There was also the one that I talked about where John Cleese wrote with another partners. He wrote the British Superman one. Remember the comedy one? Mm-hmm. That one also was pretty funny, and it's always been. And also, like you mentioned, they have that other Elseworld where it's I think it's Jor-El's son or some other one where it's a black Superman. which is actually a great story as well. It's not the Superman you all know and love, but it's a great story. I recommend you.
Two segues from what you're saying. One, to stay on topic about the immigrant, like those stories that you just talked about, they all hinge on the fact that Superman is a product of the area that he is born in.
Yeah.
If he came to America, he was going to embody truth, justice, in the American way.
Right.
I do hate that they got rid of the American way thing from it, because I think it still stands for the idealized version of America, and Superman bearing that moniker, I think, really was a good symbol of what we ideally want America to be, which is a place of good, where goodness and kindness are emphasized, because Superman is supposed to be the ultimate force of good and kindness, because the guy saves squirrels and cats out of trees in the comics all the time, and sure enough in the movie, I love that they emphasize that version of Superman. Like, I can't tell you how many shots there are of Superman saving little animals and stuff, because for him all life matters.
You got also,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to get politicized, but because God, dude, like, I'm just saying that all life matters, because all life does matter. But I get how political now that stupid short term is, and I hate it. But whatever. But the Superman, every human life has a value, and he saves it. There's a point in which again, I don't want to give spoilers. I'm going to skip this point, other than to say that Superman is faced with decisions, and people make those decisions, and he doesn't like them. You can say that he doesn't like them. Thankfully, James Gunn really wants Superman to be good, so he always emphasizes that goodness, and it comes out. So the movie isn't woke because they don't emphasize his immigrant aspect. It just so happens that it is a core of who he is, because the story comes down to Superman. In the middle of all this battle, he has to, like, Lex Luthor, who is, by the way, very menacing in this. I love him. The guy. Well,
the actor is Nicholas Hoult. For those who don't know who Nicholas Hoult is, he is a child actor. He was
About a Boy was
the first movies. He refined his art with the series Skins.
Yeah, great.
As Tony.
Fantastic.
Amazing in that. Go watch Skins if you haven't watched it. I love. Not the American version, the original one.
He's channeling that character as
Tony?
Lex Luthor. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, now I really got to see it, because I'm a huge fan of his portrayal of Tony in that series. He also did... what's the name of that movie where it was like a Romeo and Juliet, but with warm bodies? Mm-hmm. He was a zombie. And Romeo.
He played Beast in
he was Beast in the X-Men, which he did a fine job as Beast.
Fantastic.
He was in Mad Max. What's the name of the new one? Fury Road.
Yeah,
he was in it.
He was one of the War Boys.
He was one of the War Boys, one of the main ones. He's done so much great stuff that I can't even... He's
very good, and in this movie,
very talented.
He is Lex Luthor.
He was originally actually auditioned for the part of Superman.
Wow.
He was considered for Superman.
That's interesting.
But Gunn...
I think he made the right choice.
Told him, hey man, I loved you as Superman. I think you were great, but I really would like you to be
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Can you audition for that? He really did not want to, but he's like, why not?
He did it. He nailed it. Lex Luthor in this is like the most menacing version of Lex Luthor I've seen since the comics, and that
he's better than Jesse Eisenberg. What was his name?
Yeah, for sure.
That was terrible.
Because Jesse Eisenberg, like the idea of Lex Luthor, the Jesse Eisenberg Lex
he was supposed to be what's his name from Facebook, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be like
Mark
a
Zuckerberg.
Yeah. This Lex Luthor isn't far off. He's supposed to be like the Elon Musk in a sense, and that he's a billionaire
addicted to ketamine.
Probably. I think they hint that this character is very unhinged in that way.
Oh,
but yes, no, he's a billionaire who his whole motivation, and it's very true in the comics, is that Lex Luthor has the potential to save the world. He has the potential to save the world, but he is so narcissistic and self-centered that when Superman becomes like the center of conversation, and he says this in the movie, he can't take it, and so his whole reason for wanting to kill Superman,
jealousy,
is that like Superman is not a man. He's not a man, and so therefore he's better, and nobody acknowledges him, and so he needs to kill him because he feels like that he's lesser for Superman existing, right? So it's not enough, that Superman dies. He just doesn't want him to exist, and this Lex Luthor is very menacing. Like everything he does, man, like you can see that he is a calculated character. I love this version of Lex Luthor.
Well, I'm gonna say something. Okay, so I wasn't really like okay, I love Superman, and I was not really excited about the movie coming out. Like I was just like, I'll wait till it comes out. I'll wait till it comes out on video, and then I'll watch it. I think it's just because I have superhero movie fatigue right now. That's what it is. There's someone like I really am like about a lot of stuff. Like I said, I watched Thunderbolts and I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. My wife loved it. She's like, "Oh my god, it's amazing! How can you not like it?" I go, I don't know. It just felt small. Like compared to other movies, it just smells small. But I'm gonna rewatch it. There were parts that I enjoyed. I loved Sentry in the movie. I loved a lot of the little things. I loved the new Black Widow or White Widow, whatever her character is, Ilyana. And then I loved Red Guardian. There were parts that I enjoyed. I just felt that the movie felt small to me. But I digress. But
I think that what you're tired of is this comic book kind of like the comic book. Structure in which you have these characters who are like they're superheroes. They put into some adversity and then they have to overcome it, and within it, they're vulnerable, but then they're not, and it gets a little exhausting because really what you're waiting for is for them to use their powers in some kind of wish fulfillment way that at the end of it all, you feel kind of satiated. Whatever, it's boring. It can be boring.
I don't know. But
Superman, on the other hand.
So now going back to that, like Superman, I wasn't really like I was like I can wait. But after hearing it from not just you but Renee from Keeping Up with the Nerds, shout out boys, he basically hinted that it was amazing, and I've heard it from some other people. They're like, wow. So I'm at the point where now it's like, dang, I'm probably going to tell my wife, hey, you think we can go watch it tonight?
Yeah, I don't
if I can find tickets.
I don't want to oversell it to you because I hate overselling things because, unfortunately, that's the surest way to get people to not like something.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: the Rotten Tomato is like off the chart.
Yeah.
It's comparing it to the first two movies, the Donner movies. It's saying that it's up there as good as those. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I think the comparisons is unfair. I think the reason people want to compare them because those were the last time that people really, really liked a Superman movie. And in that regard, yes. But I wouldn't compare them to those movies because those movies... I mean, okay, sure. When I think of the first Superman movie, do you remember that scene when Lois Lane falls out of the helicopter?
Uh-huh.
And Superman, Christopher Reeve, flies up and saves her, and he's like, "I got you."
Who's got you?
He goes, "You got me. Who's got you?"
Yeah.
And he laughs, and it's just such a sweet, like kind of interesting moment. And yes, in that regard, you have that sort of charm in this movie.
Okay.
So there are things like that, but what I want to compare this movie is to other James Gunn movies. I want to compare it to Guardians. Right, because Guardians came out of nowhere, and we all thought it was going to fail.
Oh yeah.
Remember, we talked about
everyone was saying how like, oh my god, why would they take that? Why would that be one of the movies they would make and all these things, which I think played to his advantage because that way the Marvel Studios was like, just let them play with it, and then who cares? Like we can just move on.
When the first one came out, when the first was announced, people were like, well, this one's going to be like Marvel's first flop because at the time they couldn't miss.
Yeah.
And everyone thought that Guardians was going to be a flop.
And it was one of the best.
It was the best. Like, at that time, it was really good.
Yeah. Come on,
at the time, Thor... Yeah, and those things... Those things where he put the music into the movies and stuff really just made it more relatable. That's what he achieved with the songs and stuff. Yeah. In this movie, I told you that he doesn't rely on that as much. There is that sequence, the Mr. Terrific fight sequence, in which there is a really cool song that plays. But overall, I can't really think of any like real like songs that play, except he really, really leans in on the original Superman theme.
Variations.
Really? The John Williams one? A lot, yeah.
That's
There's a lot of variations of it throughout the thing.
great.
And
Because
it's
that's one thing that I think was missing from Man of Steel and Justice League and all that. I think the fact that they don't have John Williams' score or some kind of accompaniment and that style kind of made, because that's that is as classic as Danny Elfman's what do you call it, his Batman theme.
Yeah,
they're both very, I think now, cemented into those two characters. Do you not agree?
Yes, of course. It's something that what's his name from the Avengers, we were just talking about him with
Joss Whedon.
It's something that Joss Whedon knew. He understood that those, there was something about those themes that were inherent in these characters in order to remind people that these characters are who they are. It's a shorthand way of not only like activating nostalgia, but also something that's iconic.
Yeah.
So like if you remember in his version of the Justice League movie, you had those themes play out.
Yeah.
And they were great. What's his name? What's his name from Oingo Boingo? Danny Elfman. He scored the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
And he made sure to lean in on both those themes. They were there. And that's what made, those were very special moments when those songs came on.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Bryan Singer in Superman Returns used some of the theme, the Superman theme.
And for him, it was very much on purpose because he wanted this movie to be a sequel to the Donner movie.
Yeah. Which I think it was.
It was.
It was. Well, I believe it was.
They made a point to really emphasize that's the reason why Brandon Routh looks a lot like Christopher Reeve.
Now here's the only thing that I don't remember off the top of my head. I would have to look into it. Superman Returns is supposed to take place after 2, right? Like 3 and 4 never happened. Is that correct?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, I think that's how it was.
Yeah.
Which, okay. For those of you that've seen 3 and 4, they're not good movies.
The Richard Pryor one.
The Richard Pryor one, I think is really bad. But I think what makes it good is the fact that, of course, you hit the split Superman. Here's the thing about those movies, the old Reeves movies. They take liberties with a lot of the superpowers that Superman has.
Yes, they did.
For instance, the whole with the 3 Kryptonians at the Fortress of Solitude and the whole cellophane shot and trapping them and the whole him doing the Houdini, I'm over here, no, I'm over here. Superman does not have that power in the comics, but hey, you know what, if you look at the old comics, he had things like he would shoot lasers from his fingertips.
What?
Yeah, there was one issue where I don't remember why he was able to shoot shrink ray powers from his fingertips, and it was only used once. If you go back, he has a lot of powers that he never uses again.
That's funny,
and it's it's hilarious if you really go into the lore of Superman. They really tried a lot of funky things in the 60s and 70s that have been completely obliterated from current times of Superman. Also in the 90s, they did some weird stuff. In the early 2000s, like all of a sudden one time if I remember, he got hit by some kind of magical lightning and he was split into 2 Supermans, Superman Blue and Superman Red. So you had 2 Supermen going around, and each one had different characteristics of Kal-El himself or Clark Kent. So you had these completely like a blue and white Superman with a lightning thing, and you had a red and white Superman with a big the lightning facade and stuff. And this went on for a huge story arc, and this was the new Superman, and then all of a sudden they got combined back into one. So that was one. The other one, the newest one, is I think there's a golden Superman that just came out in the comic books.
Yeah?
Yeah, like golden powers for a minute. I have no idea. I haven't followed comics in a long time. Well, I know that was kind of weird.
They try to emphasize that different variations of kryptonite
in the comic and the movie.
In the comic books, not in the movie, but in the comic books, the different types of kryptonite have different
white,
reactions.
There's blue, there's red, there's green, of course. There's black kryptonite as well. Mm-hmm. What do you mean black? And then there's other ones. There was also rainbow, and each one had different things. Some of them are still canon, some are not. The show Smallville, for instance, brought it out to existence pretty well. They changed what the kryptonites did. I think in Smallville, if I recall, I don't remember if blue kryptonite or not, but made you kind of like took off your inhibitions and made you kind of more like sinister and cynical, which is what their version of Bizarro was on the show. So Clark Kent became Bizarro, and even to the point where like he had that pixelated, crackled look on his face. And
well, then eventually he turns into Doomsday.
Something like that. No.
Yeah, he did in the newer. Well,
Not in Smallville, no.
no, so you're right. Not in Smallville. In the newer.
Oh, the Superman Arrowverse one.
And the Arrowverse Superman. Bizarro is a clone of Superman. I think brought on by. I think it could have been like a different colored kryptonite. And then ultimately he morphs or mutates into Doomsday.
Oh, okay.
And actually the Doomsday and
that's kind of a cool idea.
The Doomsday in that show, man, is like very comic book accurate in the way he looks and behaves and everything. They nailed it. It's great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good show. I would watch it.
Like I said, I saw some of Flash season 1. Haven't seen all of it. I stopped because I gotta finish Arrow. I really want to finish Arrow, but some of the writing on season 5 got a little for me. But I still enjoy it, and I think it's one of the best Arrow versions.
Just watch the Flash.
There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff that I have to watch though. So that's why it's kind of like.
Unfortunately, at this point, it's not even worth it anymore.
No, I'm still gonna watch it
because the Flash was great. Arrow got boring towards the 5th or 6th season.
That's where I'm at.
They have 7 seasons, right?
Yeah, 7 seasons.
Yeah, so by the 5th season's already kind of long in the tooth.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
They very much leaned in too much on him being the Batman.
Yeah, and then Flash, I started really enjoying. I thought it was really well made, but I think they took it off. What was I watching on Netflix? I think it wasn't available for a bit, so that's why I stopped watching it because it was not available for a while.
But
I think that's what.
I think it's on there now, right?
Oh, I don't know. I got to go check. But I know that Arrow was like, there was a thing where I was like, oh man, like I have to finish it. But it is on there, but I wanted to watch Flash and then I wanted to watch Supergirl. And then it all kind of just, tumbled out of control because there's so much. There's a League of, what is it? League of Tomorrow? What was it called?
Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow. There is Black Lightning, which I did watch the first 2 seasons. I got to finish the last season, which I think was great. Which also, by the way, it was originally not connected to the Arrowverse, but then because the Legends of Tomorrow, they connected it, which I thought was ingenious that they did that. But anyhow, Supergirl, I still have to go back to that. I have to finish Flash, and I think those are all the shows for the Arrowverse that I can think of. Oh, no. Naomi was part of it.
Yeah.
Naomi was a part of it.
That one was one that was a part until it wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah,
sorry,
that's fine. Don't worry about it. He's looking up whatever. But
yeah, let me turn this off. Sorry about that.
There's other Arrowverse ones that I don't remember, but those are the main ones. I got to get back around to it. But going back to this movie, so there's no. This is the beginning of James Gunn's new DC. Universe, DC films. He basically threw the baby out with the bathwater, except for saving his Peacemaker. That's the only thing that he was able to. Well, not the only thing that he was able to. The only thing he wanted to save, because he could have saved Wonder Woman. He could have saved. Henry Cavill. He didn't. He recast Jason Momoa as Lobo, which I think is kind of cool.
I'm looking forward to that.
Which was what he originally should have been anyway.
Yeah.
He looks like Lobo 100%. He should have been Lobo.
Yeah.
Not Aquaman, because that's not Aquaman in the comic books.
No.
But whatever. I did enjoy his Aquaman.
I like how they tried to sort of change Aquaman to kind of resemble that for a while there.
Yeah. That was funny. They reverse engineered Aquaman to Jason Momoa.
I mean, that's the way it goes. Like, usually you have like the comic books try to do what the movies are doing, and sometimes it's for good reason. I mean,
right.
But in this case, no thanks.
Yeah, and then looking at what's her name, Gal
Gadot.
Gal Gadot, or is it Gadot?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Gal Gadot.
Look, as a Wonder Woman, she's a very pretty woman. Pretty woman. She looks very Wonder Woman in the face. I never bought her. Being Wonder Woman, like strong and the she can kick match, she was too skinny.
I liked her as Wonder Woman, but okay.
But what I didn't like about her was her acting. Gal Gadot's acting is like a paper bag. It's very just limpy. She has no expression whatsoever. There's some funny TikTok videos out there if you guys want to go out there and look, where people are reenacting her acting style, and they're like, "No, Maxwell, don't do that." And they're like just showing all the cheesy acting that she does throughout Wonder Woman, Snow White, Death in the Nile. And I never noticed it until I saw these videos, and then I started like going back and I'm like, yeah, she cannot act her way out of a paper bag. She is a really bad actress. She's just pretty eye candy.
I suppose.
It's crazy.
I dug her.
Okay, let's play fantasy for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Now that she's out of the picture, who would you cast as Wonder Woman? Do you have someone in mind?
I don't.
Because I don't either. But
I would want. If anything, I would want. I would want James Gunn to find,
an unknown,
some unknown, and find one that, because the thing is that this guy who plays Superman is amazing. He's great.
Okay, so he plays. He's good to carry the torch.
It's like I told you earlier, that Superman, that Clark Kent is not the secret identity. He is Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. It just so happens that Superman is another aspect of his personality, and that he wears when he's out saving people. But he really is Clark Kent.
Okay.
And he's kind of a mix of both. Like, he's not like the bumbling fool. Obviously the bumbling fool is the portrayal, but the core of Clark Kent, the good guy, the nice guy, the sort of oblivious guy, at things, that's who he is. Like, there's these great sequences where he's with the dog Crypto, and so he's the Crypto's not his. Crypto is supposed to be Supergirl's dog. Oh. And so he and that's straight out of the comics, by the way.
Yeah.
So what happens is that he ends up interacting with the dog in the way that you would expect any person to interact with their dog, which is great. Like, you can tell that he loves the dog, but he also is annoyed by the dog. Well, you've seen in the trailer, the dog is an unruly thing, right? And so that there's a very human thing about that. And so I like that. So what I hope for the Wonder Woman character is that he finds the right one. But here's the thing. Okay, let's think about who is Wonder Woman? Like, dude, she's literally an invincible, immortal god.
Yeah, she's a goddess.
At least depending on the version that they go with, right? But more than anything, she is. And so she's a warrior who was raised
on an island of warriors.
Yeah, to be a diplomat, and to go off into the world. But she's very much an alien in the way that Superman's an alien. But she's an alien in the sense that she grew up in a world where no men exist, and so there is a sort of, she can't be like the girl next door. She can't.
No, not at all.
She's going to be the detached, curious, warrior woman.
Right.
But there's some inherent goodness in her. It's the reason why she believes in the mission, to the point where she will, where she, like, dude, like in some of the better storylines of Wonder Woman in the comics is where she has to make a decision between life or death, and she always chooses, life, but for others, and she will have, like, dude, like, for example, if Superman was possessed by something and he was threatening the world, if she believed in his mission, she will follow him. Yeah. Like, a la what's that? Injustice, the game.
Yeah.
That turned into a storyline. Like, she believes in his mission. He's trying to. He becomes Superman becomes a dictator.
Or Red Sun.
Yeah.
Same thing on Red Sun.
Same thing.
Yeah, they become friends.
Right. However, in other ones, where she would as easily kill Superman if he threatened the greater good that she believes in.
Of course.
And that's the kind of person or character she is. And that's a hard thing to do. Now, when I first saw Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I believed her to be that character. Yeah. I really believed her. And they introduced her in such a great way with that song from that song has a lot in common with Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Son. If you look at the music structure of it. And it makes sense, it makes sense why. And so they did such a great job of introducing her. I really bought into her. So when her first standalone movie came out, I loved it. It's a great movie.
I love the first movie. Actually, you know what? I like the second movie.
I don't.
And I'm gonna fall on the sword on that one.
Woman 84?
Yeah, Wonder Woman 84. I enjoyed it. It doesn't need to exist, but I enjoyed it where I will not apologize for liking that movie. It's not a good movie.
I watched it once. I don't think I cared to watch it again. But
I watched it again. I watched it once. But you know why I enjoyed it? Because I watched it in 3D. So I enjoyed it in 3D.
You have a 3D TV, don't you?
I have a 3D television,
Okay.
and here's the thing though, it's a passive 3D television, which makes it even better.
What's that mean?
Okay, so there's active and passive 3D technology.
Okay.
Active is the kind that was popular in the early 2000s, where you go and you get the TV set, and it comes with special glasses that you have to charge, and they have little flickers where it flickers in between like two different lenses, which give you the 3D effect.
Right, the shuttering.
The shuttering. The problem with that is, first of all, expense, because you have these glasses cost $200 a pop.
If they break,
and they break, you're screwed, and you have to go out and buy new ones and all that. Passive is the old red and blue lens, and then later on they became just black lenses, which is what you have when you go to the real 3D in movie theaters.
Yeah.
Mine is a passive.
Nice.
So I have a box, and I mean a box full of these crappy 3D glasses. When I go to the movies, I just save them and I throw away the old ones and I just put the new ones in there. I have at least 20 glasses.
Cool.
So you can go to my house and watch 3D movies, and you just pick a box, pick a lens.
That's
just
cool.
grab it, and it's easier on the eyes.
Okay.
The 3D effect is much better when done properly than it does with an active 3D glasses.
Okay.
So that's the great thing. The only thing is bit rate does, like everything has pros and cons. And then for passive, the bit rate does drop from time to time. So you get this weird dimming for like a split second after like about 30 minutes of play. It's minimal. You can't tell unless you're really looking for it.
Okay.
And the other downside is it supports up to 1080p.
Okay.
So you can't go 4K, but honestly, I don't care. I enjoy it. The 3D, the TV in my room is 4K, so I don't mind. The living room is 1080, but I have 3D and it's 65 inches. I'm happy. Some great stuff I have on there.
Cool.
Despicable Me 4, I bought off Fandango and I watch it in 3D all the time. Wicked in 3D was pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty.
I've still yet to watch Wicked.
Oh, really? I enjoyed it. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, going back to real quick before we go, Superman and DC as with the Guns DC universe. Robert Pattinson in Batman. I enjoyed him as Bruce Wayne. I enjoyed him as Batman. I think they were great. The movie was terrible. The Batman, I think, was a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Because of the dialogue. Not because of the actors in it, because the actors in it were great. I just think that the dialogue, I thought Batman Begins was bad. This was worse.
Yeah.
Because come on, dude. Alfred escapes a bombing face away from the packaging with just a scratch on his face, and he's back to normal after. It's like, come on, just stop. But there's a lot of little things in it that I had a problem with. But having said that, I hope that Pattinson becomes Guns DCU. I know he said
I don't want that.
Why not?
I don't, especially in the face of this this Superman. I don't. I
It doesn't fit?
want an older.
Older than Superman?
Yeah.
Ah.
Or maybe the same age, because in Superman you get the impression that he's like in his late 20s, early 30s, and Robert Pattinson, like, yeah, I mean, he's young, but there's just something kind of, I don't know, dude. He just doesn't. I don't want him to be the brave and the bold Batman. I want the Batman in these movies. I want him to be a lot like the Ben Affleck Batman. I want him to be older.
Which I gotta say that
Because the thing about it, is that at some point, like Batman and Superman are always going to be frenemies in the sense that Batman is very suspicious of Superman. It's the reason why he does what he does in regards to Superman. He respects him because he's powerful. He respects him because he sees that he's good, but he doesn't trust him because he's powerful and
Batman
because he's good.
Let's be real. Batman doesn't trust anyone but Batman.
Right. Well, because he has a mission and he has a very kind of narrow view of how to achieve it.
Right.
And so any alliances he makes are strategic. And so, like, beyond all that, I do think that in the comic books, the way he's portrayed his friendship with Superman is that he does respect him, and there is a genuine friendship there. But it's also one where he knows that Superman is dangerous and he needs to keep an eye on him. So, but here's my point though. Batman can't be anybody who looks lesser than the Superman in the movie, because then you're not going to believe in any authority that he has. Ben Affleck against the Ben Affleck Batman going up against
Henry
Cavill, I believed that.
Yeah, I did too.
I believed it, even though I knew in my heart of hearts that Batman would get killed in an all-out brawl with Superman. Yeah. I believed in the authority that he exuded Mind you, we've talked about it, but that whole sequence where Batman beats up those guys in that warehouse when he's trying to save Superman's mom, dude, that is the most Batman I've ever seen anybody be, and it's such a great sequence.
Me and I think my wife watched it with me. Yeah, my wife watched it and my kid, and we were like, "Oh my god, that's
the most Batman I've ever seen Batman ever be in any Batman movie."
Affleck in that suit,
yeah,
doing that fighting, doing all that sequence. That was the official stamped Batman of the Batmanist Batmans.
Yeah, and he was great. And the closest they ever got to that, and not even close, by the way, was Keaton when he used his gadgets to fight guys. But he wasn't a karate guy at all.
Well, he couldn't really move in that suit.
No, he couldn't for sure. But man, in this, the Ben Affleck really portray a man who is very much a formidable,
and you could see the influence of Batman Arkham Asylum video game on that whole sequence.
Right, 100%. When he throws the charges on the guns in order to disable them, when he uses the grapple hook to push the guy in and drops him, all of that is straight
from the video game,
right? And so you can tell that he had been playing, and he's like, "I want my Batman to do this."
Yeah,
and
it does it.
It's great.
It's great, man.
So I need the Batman in the James Gunn movies to be imposing, and so that when he steps up to Superman, he can have authority over him in a convincing way, even though we know that Superman can destroy him with one single grip of his neck.
I believe Pattinson could do it if you just retouch the character that he portrayed on the first Batman. If you just tweak it, I believe it could be done. Because you got to remember, like, taking point Ben Affleck's Batman, right? Snyder's version and Whedon's version of Batman, and also what's his name, Ayers in Suicide Squad.
Yes,
is it David Ayers? Yeah, those three versions of Ben Affleck's Batman, or what are they calling it?
Well, there's also the fourth version, which is the Flash one, and that one's a pretty good one too.
Oh shit, I forgot about that one.
He's the guy who's gonna do.
I always forget the Flash.
He's the guy. He's the guy who's gonna do. Who's going to do The Brave and the Bold?
Yeah,
he's going to be the director. James Gunn's the guy who's writing it.
Yeah. So those four versions, each one, even though they're still the same actor, they all feel a little different.
Right.
I feel that with the right writing and the right directing, Pattinson could be a good Batman. But it all depends. Like, I don't have the vision for it. I don't have what it would be. But I think right now that would be my best chance.
Here's my other biggest problem with this. I guess you can only really have one biggest problem, but here's one of my bigger. I think it's bigger than my previous one. The bigger problem is that if he ends up becoming the Batman of that universe, like the baggage that comes with, like, already the established Riddler and the potentially established Joker, I'm not cool with. I like the actor who played the Joker. I just don't like his portrayal of the Joker.
Yeah,
I'm not enthused.
I did not like the Riddler or the Joker. The only villain from that series that I liked was Penguin, and even then I was like, yeah, it's not Penguin.
Well, we need a Mark Hamill type Joker again.
Right.
Period.
100%.
And so
the best Joker.
In the next in the movies, when the Joker comes out inevitably, and he will, he needs to be a Mark Hamill type of Joker. I mean, I loved the Dark Knight Joker.
Heath Ledger.
He was like top, but I don't need that version, right? And I don't need that kind of version. I want a clown prince to be both like funny but also scary.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know that the Pattinson, inspires that type of characters around him. So I don't know, man. I'm not with that. I mean, if they announce him, I'll keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Because, I try, but
I hear you and I respect your opinion. And on that note,
me la pelas.
Ay, cabrón.
Well, can I only just say one other thing? Because we didn't really get to touch on it, but the controversy of Superman, and I'll keep it. I'll keep it, and I'll keep the 1 minute version. One, the White House released a memed up version. I'm hoping that Angel put it here of Donald Trump from the poster of the Superman. It's so stupid.
Did you see the someone made a fat version of that?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna look for it.
I have it.
Oh, put it right here.
Yeah, right there.
Now, the thing about it is, dude, I mean, he's an immigrant. The response by the White House, and I saw this when I was in the bathroom earlier. Dude, it said, and I have to actually quote it because Like, honestly, it's so ridiculous. The quote from the White House defending it, it says, it's so stupid. This is so dumb. Let's see, where is it at? Because obviously the White House got a lot of guff for it. But it says here that the White House speaks out amid backlash over meme of Trump as Superman, and quote, nowhere in the Constitution does it say we can't post banger memes.
Banger?
Whatever. So, the controversy I want to touch on really fast beyond what we talked about, the immigrant story, is the wokeness of the character. And I'll tell you what, the movie doesn't hit us over the head with anything of wokeness. And here's let me also put out a disclaimer. We spent some years talking about wokeness and how like we're against it. I'm going to tell you what, if I can go back and take it all back to some degree, I would. I don't want to add to that sort of conversation, and we did. Obviously, we're like this small little itty bitty part of this corner. No one listens to us, or whatever. But I am embarrassed by the fact that somehow he has the Star of David.
It's the Israel flag.
Yeah, that's the Star of David.
Well, this part is, but everything else, the border and the white, that's Israel.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, because that's the Israel flag. The Israel flag has a Star of David on it.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
That is so stupid. All right. Well, anyways, the movie's not woke. And you know what? I get when certain movies, when they're inherently about a message, to the point where you detract from like the overall like atmosphere. The Star Wars Acolyte is a good example of that. I did not like it for that reason, but there were a lot of things I did like about it, about Acolyte. Overall, there were some things that I enjoyed, and there were a lot of things I hated about it. Beyond that, in the Superman movie, there is nothing in that movie for me that screams, anything that like the controversies are trying to talk about. It's just a really good movie. The character really is inherently good. I believe that he is good for what he is. He is challenged in that. There's a spoiler that I don't want to give away. That sort of like it becomes a central part of the story in which his belief, like his beliefs, come from a certain source, and then he has to like reassess that source. And I love that. And then there's also kind of a real world sort of like thing in that if you remember what happened to James Gunn when he was canceled and fired for like a minute. Right. Well, I mean, dude, this movie actually, like, one of the center plot lines puts Superman in that same position, and so you'll definitely go through that journey. Okay. And so I'm just gonna say that the movie deserves to be a hit. I'm excited for any future sequels, and I'm really looking forward to this DC universe and what Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters.
Yeah. Now, real quick, so before we go, did you watch the animated series My Adventures with Superman on HBO Max?
No.
Okay. Jack Quaid plays Superman in that version.
Interesting.
It's actually really good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Jack Quaid is The Boys.
The Boys and Dennis Quaid. Not Dennis. Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's in it. He does a great Superman voice, and by the way, it's a great series.
Okay.
I
worth watching
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. And then all of you, let me know what you think of Superman. I will watch it, and I will give my opinion later at another time. And if you guys want to talk about it, go ahead and do it below in the YouTube comments, or email it to us at info@ouchcast.com, and we'll touch base and maybe read your email on the air.